Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another installment of the State of FEH Podcast. It's been a while since our last one. I'm your host, DTM, and I'm joined by Oblivion and Joel from Phaeology, as always. How are you two doing this fine evening?
I'm pretty good. I would have been fantastic, but if Immortus didn't take over Twitter, only Sami did, which is like good, but not quite as good as it could have been.
I'm all
Oblivion.
down the Sami train.
You stole my opener. It was exactly what I was gonna say. It was just short of perfection. That's really what it was.
I think it's perfect. I thought Hortensio would be the one that takes over Twitter, but no, it's just Sami, and that's amazing. Sami and both Aliers, like, I don't know. I think that's pretty peak. Not gonna lie.
I don't know, the FOMO lines when you get him to max level and he's like being like kind of a tsundere, like, fine, I'll help you with Christmas. Like, I was like, this is so perfect. I think this is the opposite of actual sacred stones.
Right. This is telling me we need, like, I know like as a Robin fan, I want like actual Robin, but I sort of want like Christmas Grima as well. And I think that could join in with like the gift giving and stuff, the tsundere stuff. I think that would be really cool.
They can do that. We haven't gotten dual male Robin, right?
I don't think so, actually.
Only females. Yeah, we could do that. We could also do. I saw someone on Twitter do Anankos, and it was duocorn. So that's also an option.
Oh, that would be fire, actually.
They're just gonna do that every Christmas now.
Mm-hmm.
See, all I can think of is Bridal for Mortis. I mean, I'm one track mind here. That's what I want next. Like, you can give me another alt. I don't even mind. We can have too many for Mortis alts. I'm good with that.
Right. And yeah, obviously, like, we are off the what's it called? Off the shelf with the winter banner right now. And yeah, very, very interesting banner, to say the least. We have a pretty good mix of units, I would say, from the different games. I know, like, you're very hyped on Femortis. I wasn't expecting Femortis, like, at all.
No, that caught me completely off guard. I was live streaming my reaction, and I probably, I don't know, killed like 20 or 30 people's ears. Like, they were just like, "Oh, thanks." I'm like, "Sorry, I didn't."
But in the best possible way.
Right.
Like, I really enjoyed it. You had a fantastic reaction. It brought a smile to my face.
Yeah. How's the Femortis been treating you so far? Like, I know we did some testing when you first summoned him, and he seems to be pretty strong, at least on first impressions. Has that, like, held up?
Yeah, he's much stronger than I thought he was gonna be. I think the only problem is that he needs the Marth ring, and seemingly the gimmick they were trying to make it was so that he didn't need the Marth ring, but he did a bad job of it. So I'm like, okay, well, Time's Pulse is there for some reason, but it's not doing what it's supposed to.
Yeah, the Time's Pulse.
I'm so confused on that. Just absolutely baffled.
Maybe Miracle? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, Time's Pulse, what you need and what made Shield Fighter Marth Ring so good was that you have Aegis up on, like, literally every hit besides a fourth quad hit. And that just, like, has so much survivability. And if you don't have that, well, then there's a lot of nukes out there that could probably just take it out. And so, yeah, it's interesting that they're trying to make it not relying on Marth Ring, but it didn't work. So, yeah, that's a rip.
FEH designers not know how to design units? What? That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, like, with Marth Ring, like, all he needs to do is survive, and, like, you're set, right? Like, because of the fact that he has the end actions things, like, it's not free to just, you know, chip out at him as, say, like, other slaves.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm just happy Femortis is here again. Like, the one thing with OG Femortis, the biggest problem with him is that he doesn't have a way to transform easily. You kind of have to use the Sacred Seal, which you really don't want to do. You want to use, like, Hardy Bearing or Deflect Missile or just more HP. And so this Femortis just having a way to transform very easily in his preference skill is so nice. I hope they do that on his remix. They, like, update it so that it's easy to transform.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope so, because like if he doesn't, like he would have to rely on either like a beast hardy fighter with that, which they've never done yet, or just have like the beast sacred seal, which again means that you can't use hardy bearing, which a lot of units want right now with like desperation Bernies and desperation supported Lucinas out there, which we will talk about soon, but you know, gotta save the best for last. Yeah.
Have you guys got to test any of the other units? I saw you pull Joe, but I didn't see if you actually got anything or not.
I didn't get anything, and I haven't had a chance to test anything either. So it's I've heard lots of reports, and I still cannot believe that. I'm baffled by the whole times pulse thing. I know we just said it, but is it maybe that they wanted him to also be able to use Armored Blaze or Armored Flow or one of those more easily? Maybe? I don't know.
I feel like if they wanted him to do that, he would come with like Armored Blaze or Armored Beacon, right? Like,
that's true.
Aegis is not the most sought out valuable skill, despite being it very good, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah, all I can think of was like Miracle. Like they're like, hey, let's put Miracle more, because that's a great idea. Make everyone more mad at this.
Yeah.
When it comes to the other units, though, I had the great idea to keep pulling again, and that went terrible, as usual.
Oh no.
Because you know, love hitting 5.5%, but I got Shez. Shez is pretty good. I think Shez is better than we kind of gave her credit for. I think she might fit into that trifecta of Bernadetta and Ninja Lucina as the third Brave quad unit. Right. We need more of those.
The third Brave quadding Cav units,
right?
Specifically,
right?
Yeah.
I think she's pretty solid overall. Like I still think she's like third place, but third place is still pretty good. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty solid. Alir is the weirdest unit, though. I think just on first impression, everybody felt like this is like, okay, this unit's like kind of cracked, but at the same time, he has 30 defense for some reason. And I'm like, why is this happening? It's like he's either immortal and doesn't die, or he just explodes. And it's like, okay,
right.
No, it's weird. I've seen like the Sacred matchup, which is the matchup I expected him to lose, and then he can win that matchup. But then Felix, which I thought he might do good against, he loses, and I'm like, okay, like I don't know. Like it really depends on the supports, I guess. Him missing DR piercing is really, really bad for certain matchups. I think that's like one of the biggest things that can kind of hold him back. And then I don't know. It's just like sometimes he just wants really key supports, like NFU support, and like Seth is pretty good with him too. But Seth is pretty good with everyone, so that's not really a surprise. Right. But very interesting unit. I'm glad that we got defensive special jump as a support finally. I guess it's really not been that long, but in FEH years, it feel like it's been forever. Because we've gotten so many offensive special jumps with things like, you know, Nephany, Regan, and Brave Robin and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see that. I just wish it was on a different type of unit. I don't really like having my tanks be the support units.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a lot better if Alir was like either an armored, so that we can take advantage of all like the saves and armor skills that we've gotten recently, or yeah, as you mentioned, just like a support with like range capabilities or something like that, or just like go full in support. But yeah, like I've been seeing reports of Alir having like very, very weird matchups as well, and I think Alir's like a unit that we'll definitely need to see in practice before we can like truly evaluate like how good or not Alir is this winter one.
Right.
I think he's set up as a dual tank. I mean, which is a weird thing, and I've never loved that strategy, but I mean, there are definitely people who use it. It just, yeah, I kind of wanted to hit on something else, and this is something that, well, I know we've talked about, and then I know specifically Oblivion said in his reaction, but the fact that this felt like a fodder banner, and that was the biggest thing, and this year has seen the first time I've really seen it's been kind of shifting for a little bit, but the big shift from it, and I'm basing this off of views, but the views for individual like banners have dropped, and things like holoforms and refined videos and things like that have increased dramatically. It seems like people are more interested in building up old units than they are in new units, which is absolutely fascinating to me. I was wondering if you guys had seen the same thing.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I think it's just that at this point in the game, a majority of people's favorites are already in the game, and like. We've also gotten to the point where it's like it's not as exciting for your favorite to get an ult. At least I kind of feel like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, this is really cool. This new character got an ult, but I also just love my old version, and I would just like them to be good. So I think like that's why holoforms is popping off so hard, because like a lot of times just getting a skill upgrade is enough to make the unit like pretty like a pretty massive upgrade. So I feel like that's kind of the direction a lot of people are feeling. But yeah, I'm sure if we had a 3 Houses Lord banner drop literally tomorrow, people would be freaking out. So it just depends.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before about how, like, at least when it comes to new heroes, like we've been having a decrease in the pool of new heroes available for New Heroes banner, and by consequence, those just become less and less exciting. What's really going to be mattering for most people who, let's be real, there's not a lot of fans of that one old dude in Echoes. I forgot the name of. But like if he comes with like some crazy mage special that pierces DR, you bet that there's going to be a lot of people that will try to get it for, say, their Lilina or something like that. And so yeah, there's like I feel like a lot of the player base just likes building units, and IS, especially this year, has been trying to capitalize on that, not just with Hall of Forms, but with like new skills. Yeah.
But even rearmed and attuned units, I mean, the attuned skills we've been getting have been a lot more interesting, mostly in a good way. I haven't had a problem with the attuned skills so far, but even looking at the emblems, I mean, there's a lot of interesting ways to build units right now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is like the attuned heroes themselves, because they feel like such a premium in some ways. Like attuned heroes feel almost better than legendaries and duo units in some sense, because they get everything, right? They get to have the preference weapon, they get to have the preference skill, they get to have the attuned skill as well. Like I think the biggest example of that is attuned Micaiah, right, where she just gets to have her cake and eat it too.
Right.
Obviously the one thing is that they don't get remixes to their preference skills. At least they haven't, obviously we haven't gotten to that point yet, but I kind of doubt they will. While legendaries and mythics will, but still I feel like that's the only thing where like, man, I really wish my favorite's an attuned hero now.
I think a great example is Tamara. The ability to get NCD on her was a huge deal.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, obviously like Micaiah and Tamara are like probably among the best attuned units that we've gotten. And yeah, there's just been a lot of new skills. Like just in this Christmas banner, like healers now have a ice shield skill from Hortensia. Now granted, there's not a lot of healers that I think can effectively make use of that in the meta right now. But like still, like I feel like Hortensia giving that ice skill just like, again, gives all the healer fans, all the Sakura fans, etc., like enough something to upgrade their units with and have fun with. And legitimately with the ice skill, I love ice, I really do. And so like I think that is just something that is super cool for healer fans to be able to play with.
It's definitely one of the better things they've done recently, in my opinion. Like I think whenever you can create a niche for like an archetype, it's always good. And healers are definitely the archetype that needs it the most.
Yes.
Healers and if we go back further, calves, melee calves. Melee calves were dead in the water for a long time, and they have finally made a place for them.
Just because of Sigurd Ring, just that one thing brought them back.
Sometimes too good of a place, but that's still, it's a place.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for the Elamine remix, because then she's gonna have ice and she's gonna counter Freyr. It's gonna be the best day ever, guys. Everyone look forward to it.
Yes, you and your Freyr hating, goat hating ways, SMH.
Yes. Elamine's the best.
You've also summoned for Hortensia too, right, Oblivion? How has she been doing? I know, like, you probably already fought her to Hortensia, but I think you still have one. Right?
She's been doing Tempest Trials. That's about it. I was like, hi, Hortensia. Have you met other Hortensia? Because you're gonna die to her, and I'm gonna feed you to Alencia and Elevate. And that was pretty much it.
Right. Who would you say? I mean, I guess you're using it on Alencia and Elamine, but are there any other standout healers you guys think would best use this ice skill?
Other Hortensia.
Other Hortensia. This is just. See, you are the Hortensia fan.
I mean, there's just like not many good healers, right? Like, there's very few. I think you can
if
like
you're
really
Arena
name them
fan,
on.
If you're Arena fan, Elise, I've heard a couple people like that is she's fantastic in Arena with that skill.
Duo Elise.
Duo
Elise.
okay. Sorry, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I've seen people try to do it with Duo Hilda because she can do isolation. So like you can kind of like cheese even harder now. But there's just not like competitively. There's like 4 or 5 options. Like it's not the greatest selection.
Right. I'm hoping for like some Christmas tickets. Sami, please hook me up so I can like see if I can free summon one so I can give to Maria. I'm still coping with my Maria SD team. Don't judge. Like it still works. I swear.
No, you need to get rid of Maria. She's her and like Legendary Mel Robin are like definitely past their prime time.
Man.
I was gonna say something about healers. I can't remember. Oh! We just got the Wrathful Staff Steel too, which is really nice. I'm really glad. We just need Dazzling now, and then healers can finally have a real beast slot after like 7 years or 8 years almost. Like that is the biggest thing because healers just are so behind compared to any other unit type, and so I think giving new assist skills with terrain is a great way to make them like have a good niche. Giving them actual skill options for their beast slot is a great upgrade as well.
Yep.
And then maybe we'll get some power creep, which usually everybody hates, but I think if it was for healers, people will be more accepting of it. Like combine Wrathful and Dazzling into one thing in the weapon, so that way they can just run whatever they need to.
Yes. Like
here's the problem. I was really excited about this, and I started looking at all the different things I could put on healers. I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. And every build I ended up with resonance. They need piercing so badly.
They don't have any other option.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only way they can get DR cut, like, at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The only way they can do damage, unfortunately.
I just thought, you know what? If they just made an emblem ring that was like, hey, when your special procs, it pierces damage reduction and like maybe does a little more damage or something, that would be a pretty good emblem ring. Like, they could.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
they should just do that. I don't know who that would be.
I'd be so down for that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I guess thoughts for the upcoming emblem soon. Yeah, obviously, we're not just here to talk about the Christmas banner, even though that was pretty recent, because this is the first State of FEH podcast that has happened after the release of Book IX. And oh boy, we have an interesting, setting and new OCs and all that jazz. I know we reacted together. I was pretty hyped for the new book. I'm sure you were as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's been a very hit and miss with certain books, as you know. But I think the setting for this book is very, very good. I like Asgard as a setting. I like the OCs for the most part. I like the OCs we haven't seen yet a lot too, or we've only seen a little bit of them. The only thing I don't really like is Rune. And to be fair, we haven't really seen him do anything yet, so I can't really hate on him for that. My biggest thing is like he just needs to wear shoes that actually fit him and socks. I don't know what kind of bear is working at IS with their weird interests, but they need to stop. Like, I don't want to see that. Just keep it out.
Right. And yeah, I honestly, I was not expecting we were going to go to Asgard, but yeah, I guess it's time to wrap up the story with Loki and Thor, I guess, or not really.
I don't think I do that though, because like the first chapter, they're like, hey, you don't actually work for whoever, what's his name, Allfather or whatever his name is. So like I feel like they're already like building up a mystery for the next book. They're like, who are they actually working for?
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more to the story, but we'll see, of course.
I mean, if we go based off Norse mythology, like Odin or Althadr, because Odin is already used in Fae. Like Odin like sacrificed himself to gain knowledge of like the world runes, and like that sort of maps with like, you know, him seeking out rune in this book. And so yeah, I don't know, I guess we'll have to find out. But yeah, like you mentioned, the other OCs though look really, really cool. I really like Balder. I really like Aether. I really like the other ones that's in the background that we don't have names for.
Super hot glasses chick. I'm down. I mean, I think that overall the design's great. I know I've seen a lot of people saying it's like very like Genshin or MiHoYo-esque. And it is to an extent, but I also feel like it's kind of Xenoblade-y, so I don't really have a problem with it. You know, I like it a lot. I like it a lot more than Neopets, personally. I mean, I like the Neopets when they're not Neopets. When they turn into Neopets, I'm done. I'm like, okay.
The thing I want out of this book, they aren't going to do this, but would there be a more Fire Emblem thing than to have a time skip and have Rune actually grow up? And I think that would be a really neat thing to do. Like I said, they're not going to do that. That requires a little more investment in the story than they're going to give us, but I'd really enjoy that. Yeah.
I can't remember who was I talking to about this, but I was saying like I would really have loved a time skip, but I feel like if they were going to do that, they needed to kill Henriette at the end of the last book. I think if Henriette died at the end of the last book and then Alphonse actually became king of Asker, I think that would be like the perfect transition for a time skip. You know what I mean?
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, they still haven't upgraded Alphonse's art in the
I know, it drives me nuts. It drives me. He looks like a poor kid. Everybody else looks great around him. There's poor kid Alphonse who can't even afford a new outfit.
Yeah. Veronica has this insane glow up, and Alphonse still looks the same as year one, despite being like 7-8 years older. Yeah, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think that would sell too. Like if they made I don't even know what it would be, legendary Alphonse maybe. Like that would sell like hotcakes. That would sell so quick. Give us an older, more Chad Alphonse. Just say like he just needs a line where he's gonna say he's gonna kill somebody and everybody will.
Yeah. Well, any of those though, I make him attuned, make him aided, ascended. Yep. Any of those would be great.
100% agree.
Yeah.
But please make him attuned.
That would definitely help, like for sure. I mean, I've always dreamt of them actually giving us new free-to-play Alphonse, Serena, and Anna, and like not throwing out the old ones, but like taking them out of the rotation.
Yeah,
because it is quite painful without really, really heavy investment.
Right. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll start pushing those OCs or just OCs in general. I know, like,
was there anything else you guys thought about, like the books, like anything other than the OCs, I guess, or like the original reaction to the story or anything like that?
I wanted a new mode. It's been so long, and I mean, how many times do I have to complain about that? I think everyone knows my feelings there, and all of our feelings. Like that's, and I think we've kind of have what we have, and they're going to develop the modes that we have, and they'll give us mini games. I mean, I like United Warfront. They've actually done a decent job with those so far, but I think Oblivion, as you're fond of saying, we need something with a little meat on the bone, and that's not quite it.
Yeah. I mean, they did update Aether raids, though, with the most crazy changes ever, so how are you guys feeling about it after getting to play with it for a week? Because I'm going to be honest, I forgot to put Rune even on my team.
I honestly didn't even bother. Like, I have turn 1 Gale Force, like, Rune, or like the extra reinforcement slot doesn't really do anything for me, and so yeah.
Honestly, Rune's really good. I started playing. I had a negative opinion at first, and then I actually started playing with him. I've run a lot of different teams, and it is nuts the things you can do with an extra unit. I mean, that sounds like obvious, but there are a lot of maps that would be impossible, and then you have another unit fly in and suddenly everything goes crazy. One of the weirder things you can do is with a dancer. Keep in mind they get another action, so you go in, you know, you have your Fury 4 whoever, or Fury 7, and then you have your dancer dance that carry, and then they get another action, so they can dance again. And so it's a lot of crazy stuff like that. It's nuts. The problem is, and this is a DTMism, he feels a little win more-esque. So that is, yeah. I mean, as we've talked about, do you need Rune to win? Probably if you're doing player phase, no. But he does make things a lot of fun. And I still want to know, I haven't talked to someone who's a little less competitive, and I want to know how they feel about the change. Like, because this is absolutely IS trying to push player phase stuff. And that is, I mean, before the safety fence 2 safetier, it kind of looked like Rune was just dead in the water. Like, that wasn't going to be a good thing. Then you add in this extra safe turn, and suddenly Rune is a lot better. So I would like to hear a lot more opinions on whether this entices people into doing more player phase or not.
I feel like the mechanics themselves are pretty interesting, but not explained well. Like, the fact that you can kind of block the teleport spot and make him like teleport way ahead is kind of crazy. Also, my bad experience was that I immediately got hit with a sack player who just sat to turn 3 and then had two Felixes and a Seliph, and then just ran to my near save until all of his units died, and then my gate tree died. But I do think it's, I don't know if it's the word, like, I guess for me in DTM, because we went on turn 1 like essentially every time we play, like, it doesn't really do anything for me personally. I think for people who struggle in Aether raids, it definitely can help them out, especially if they don't mind losing some units. Like, I guess it makes it easier. I don't know, but for me, the thing I'm really interested in is defense. I want to see how the defense one works, because unlike any other defense structure, you can put it anywhere. So it's kind of more like a building more than it is like an actual defensive structure, which is very unique. And the fact that you could just put it right next to the enemy team, so on turn 3 you just have a Sickard run out of nowhere and kill everybody. I think that's gonna be crazy. I think, like, I'm waiting for the infantry pulse video where he's like, insane brave Felix wipes it, like, you know, like whatever he does. I'm sure he'll do something great.
You've heard of corner Edelgard, but have you heard of
surprise Edelgard? I'm definitely interested for that. And I think the other thing is, like, Rune himself, like you said, he is a good unit. Like, mechanically, I've played with him. He's a strong unit. Like, he's not bad. But historically, I think other than Book 4, typically the first mythic we get of a book is not the strongest, right? Usually there's a big upgrade after that. Maybe Regan was also pretty good too. But, like,
I was about to mention, Regan was nice.
Like Regan and Peony, obviously, because Peony's just a dancer. But usually
Air was really good too. For her time.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I'm like thinking more like, you know, like, usually we get like something crazy afterwards. Like Ash was great, but then you got Asker and you're like, oh man, okay, like, obviously things got better. So I think with Rune himself doesn't really take super big advantage of coming in late, right? Like, he kind of just buffs people and like debuffs and stuff and does good damage. I'm like waiting to see if they can find a way to like actually maximize or like make a unique interaction with coming in later. You know what I mean? Like, will they be able to get that creative with their defense and offense mythics? Because I think if they do, that could be an interesting way to change the meta, especially if they can incentivize slower gameplay, which I don't personally love because I'm a turn 1 player, but I think it would be different at least, right? Like, it would make Aether raids more interesting. Though I'm not sure if that's, like you were saying earlier, if that's the thing that they need to hook in new players, right? It's just slowing down Aether raids. Is that enough? Or do they need to, like, just introduce a new game mode?
I mean,
and also the size of the map. We've got a lot of units for that size of a map.
And Sigurd. Sigurd makes the map smaller.
Jeez.
Yeah. And, like, I do think that a lot of these changes is to, like, make it more easy, I guess, for lack of a better term, for more casual or people not as involved in Aether raids as we are. Like, having a reinforcement unit obviously makes things a lot more lenient, even if they are sack players, and we do not like sack players here. And I do think when it comes to, like, high level competitive play, the defense aspect of that will definitely be the more impactful thing, and I'm very interested to see when that happens, like, what defenses will be like. But yeah, like, I don't know. For me, again, like, since I do turn 1. Like I know like safety fence is level 2 now, which means like you can wait until turn 3, get the bolt tower off, and then like just sweep. That's right, bolt tower gang, we are so back.
Oh my god.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, unless you have a catapult, like, what's stopping that, right? Like, you have to use, like, Hathrin or Breath of Life or something like that.
Yeah.
Medius, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Hathrin definitely helps, for sure.
I guess, wait, no, they're both dark, right? Hathrin and Medius? Are they both dark, or is one...
Hathrin's Anima.
Hathrin's Anima?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. I guess we could talk about safety fence, too, because I think the change with the reinforcements is, like, minor, actually. Like, it might get better over time when we get more unique mythics, like I was mentioning earlier. But safety fence 2 just completely changes ether rates, in my opinion. Like, it's like, if you're a good player, like, it's free. Like, it's so free. It's actually free. It's so ridiculously easy. You get 3 turns of killing things. Like, 3 turns! And by then, the reinforcement's there. Like, the competitive server is going to get very mad at me for mentioning this, so sorry, competitive server. But Layla's actually cracked. Layla is completely and utterly cracked broken, and competitive server does not want me to tell anyone. But, like, she is so good. You can literally just sit there and, like, oh, I kill 1 unit. Oh, I kill another unit. Oh, I kill another unit. And you have 3 turns to do it while doing just whatever else you want. Like, it's so stupidly good. Like, and she's so versatile because she has AoE, true damage. So, like, you can go with lethality, it's pretty good. You can go with AoE, that's pretty good. Like, that unit is cracked and so slept on, and I'm sure people are gonna get, like, wise to it. But, like, honestly, I think hit and run is probably the best strategy right now in the game.
It's not just on offense, by the way. She's phenomenal on defense
she's good.
As well.
Yep.
Yeah. She is crazy good.
Who knew that giving out undefended was a good status effect, man? And flash. Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's almost as if Emblem was like one of the best support units in the game for a while, or for like player facing things.
Right. Yeah. It's like the game was Emblem for offense, which they did. I mean, Bridal Emblem is really slept. To me, Young Emmer and Bridal Emblem are like the most 2 slept on units from Book VIII. Like, obviously Layla's new, so she's not technically there, but like those 2 units are so cracked.
I mean, like, with like obviously with the Book 9 banner with Layla and Hector, like, I mean, we reacted to this together, and I was a little bit disappointed when like the Layla effect, I guess what you call it, the mini foul play thing she does at the end of the canto was like inheritable, but honestly, like, she makes the best use of it in my opinion because of like the undefended and everything. Like, it's just insanely strong, and I love how they like worked around the fact that Layla, or OG Layla, was basically, her gimmick was destroyed by saves because like it had like that after combat action thingy. So the way they like,
it's Layla's revenge. That's
it actually is.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, now she has undefended, and her thing is based on Kanto now. And so, yeah, it's just her back better than ever with that. Like, I actually really like how they mechanically designed it to get around her original defects.
Right. And, like, also, you can use it on Yuri, which is just like, okay, like, you want crazy mobility. So when the Yuri refined comes out, he's going to go hard. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that banner, because we're talking about it now, that banner is really cool. I really like Layla mechanically, and power-wise, I think she's really strong. Hector, I don't think people have adopted him fully yet into defense, but I do think he's really strong on defense. Just being able to put down rocks is like an annoyance. Like, it's actually just an annoyance. You're like, okay, now I have to deal with these rocks before I can go in and like Gale Force, because a lot of times you're relying on, at least I am, like, you know, AoE Felix. So like, sometimes it's fine and Felix just like overpowers whoever's there, but then sometimes it's not, and then it's like, oh my gosh, this is a nuisance. So I'm glad they found a way to make another armor unique, at least, right? Instead of it just being like armor number 6, it's like armor number 6, but he does this cool thing. Like, so I'm pretty happy with that. Who else was on that banner? I don't even remember. It was his brother who got Uther got shafted so hard. How we've been waiting for Uther for so long. Like, I didn't even think we'd ever get Uther because he's like such a niche character in the game. And then we get him, he's a demote. I'm like, really? Like, you couldn't even give him like a preference weapon or like anything? Like, he's a good stat line at least, but like, man, he's the OG Brave Hector, literally. Like, that's his armor. Yeah. Other than that, who was the other person? I can't remember. Oh, Rune, right? It was Rune.
Yeah, Rune.
That's why I keep forgetting. I literally keep forgetting he exists. I'm like, wait, who is it? Rune. Yeah. I mean, Rune's good, obviously.
You mean the reinforcement slot unit? Yeah.
Reinforcement slot. Yeah. But,
so there's a couple things, and I forgot to mention this with Rune. You mentioned it right here, but the other thing is keep in mind how many mythics we get per year now. So it'll be a little bit until we get the next light mythic. My estimation is actually November.
Really? That long?
Yeah,
I think
you're right.
I think we only get 4 a year.
4 a year. Yep. Unless they decide to change it, which I could see them doing that because now that there's a new mythic gimmick, it would sell better than legendaries probably. Mm-hmm. Especially with they're like kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel for legendaries at the moment, right? So
right.
I could see them doing that, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we only get one of each. Question is, which one will have Baldur and Hother, right? That's the one I care about, right?
right. When are they getting in the game? We need to know. The people need to know.
We do know. In August when Choose Your Legends.
The next goal bag. Let's go.
Probably.
But back on Hector, and I'm gonna call Dor out here. So I threw him up there, and I a lot of times in the Aether Raids chat I'll just throw out, say, hey, I've got this defense up there. Do your worst. I want replays. And Dor, in order to defeat Hector on my defense, said, here, I've got it. And had, of course, like the quad hitting. I think it was the Ninja Lucina, but then it had like Peony, Duo Peony, and another Peony all stacked up immediately behind in order to get the kill. and I mean, that's actually Dor's team. So I'm not calling him out that way, but that's the level that it took to actually take the Hector out of the game. So that unit is insane, and that was with Wily Fighter, not Shield Fighter. So I'm huge fan of Hector. I think he has the best survivability in the game currently.
Huh. I don't know. I haven't actually done enough testing to know. But I feel like Níðhöggr's really kind of getting slept on. Like, Níðhöggr's really strong. Well, obviously, we'll talk about her a little bit later. But Níðhöggr's really strong. Hector's obviously really strong. Fjorm is strong. But Mortis is surprisingly tougher than we thought. Like, me and DTM, how many times did we kill for Mortis? Well, we're testing twice, maybe? And it was
I think literally only once during our entire testing phase.
Yeah. It was like Lucina, Desperation, Curve Shot, and Femortis didn't have Hardy Bearing or Deflect Missile, and then she killed him.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, other than that, he survived. And I was like, oh, like, I did not expect that at all. Like, who knew Pierceable DR could actually be good? It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, that was something that PM1 mentioned in his video. And he was like, listen, most units have 50% piercing. Right. And so, I mean, you're still getting something out of that. It's not something to ignore.
Yeah, it's a 40% DR, which is quite. I mean, back then, 40% DR was the cap, right, when it came out. So it's still really, really good. And then he also has 2 layers of flat DR as well. But yeah, that banner, I need to spend more time just like working on defense. But like, defense drives me nuts personally, because like you put so much time into it, and then you lose to a sack player, and I just like want to throw my phone across his like.
Right.
Oh my gosh. It's much more satisfying to play offense when then you win and you're like, oh, I feel so good. But obviously, I think Hector's definitely the number one place for him. I think is defense. Like you were saying though, you thought he was one of the better Omni tanks, right, Joel? So I think it's possible he's going offense
for
too.
Offense. I mean, I would imagine like any armor can be made to work on offense, and I think Hector as an Omni tank would work really well. Obviously, we need to be concerned about Læraðr when we're doing Omni tanking or saving now. But I mean, Hector, if you just put him there up on the map and have no one within like 3 spaces, I think he can pretty much survive a lot of things, a lot of the defense things, that as long as you properly build him, of course.
Yeah, you get Ice Tribe Felicia involved, and then keep warping from happening. And I mean, a lot of good things happen. He's really, really good.
Felicia's finally relevant.
Let's go NCD support. Let's go.
Only took like 3 months, but hey, we're here.
We're here. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel bad for calling her out as a support because I mean, all of 2 people have her, and I'm one of them. So it's
hey.
Yeah.
Oh, the 2 right here. Let's go.
There you go.
As much as I don't like Fates, when I see NCD support, which I've been waiting for like 5 years, I'm like, nah, I'm getting that. It's gonna for some reason, it's gonna be relevant. I'm gonna get that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like with Hector, with Femordis, like IS has been on a really big armor streak as of late. Like I remember in the beginning of Book VIII, like we just had like what? Or at the beginning of the year, I should say, we only had like what? Like Myrrh and Amelia as our only saves, basically, that were relevant. And then it took all the way until basically Shield Fighter Fjorm. And then all of a sudden, all these armors started popping up again. And now, with the double mythic, we have like Níðhöggr, as you mentioned, and Læraðr. Læraðr, I don't see as a save. I don't think he's particularly that good at it. But like, still, armors. What's with all the armors, IS?
It's like they forget they exist, and then they're like, oh, we gotta make some armors, and like make like 10 in one day, and then they're like, release them all. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to slow the speed of the game. That's what they're doing. Absolutely. I mean, even down to the safe defense too. Like that's their goal right now.
Yeah. Speed it up and slow it down. But I guess we could talk about them now, like the double mythic. I think none of us ever thought that Læraðr was going to be a dark mythic. Everybody was like, yeah, anima mythic, right? It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Because of the anti-synergy with Emblem and Loki. But, IS works in mysterious ways, so...
We'll call it mysterious, sure. That'll work.
I still don't understand that, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like, sure, you don't need to use, like, Loki or Emblem now on your defense, but, like, really? Like, it would have been... Like, what other dark mythics are you going to use? I guess Medius, now that we have safe defense level 2 and Bolt Tower. I guess you do that, but yeah, it was a really weird decision.
My conspiracy theory is that he was anima, and then they were like, oh, this is way too strong. Like, way too strong. We need to not do this. Because, like, if you think about it, like, it's Aether and Freyr and Læraðr in one season. Like, that's toxic. Let's not do that.
Right.
That would have been terrible.
Oh, yeah. I was not looking forward to that. But, like, the actual units themselves, I guess we can start with Læraðr because he's probably the more meta impactful one.
Definitely the one that got a lot more press among the player base, I would say.
Right. But like, I think, like you mentioned earlier, when he comes to being an actual save, I'm not a big fan of him as a save. He's not terrible as a save, but like, I just find him, he's so much more effective when he's alive, which sounds dumb, but I really just like him as Gatekeeper, like Turbo Plus. Like, he's just like, hey, you do what the Gatekeeper did, but like 20 times better. And I'm like, okay, cool. So like, that's pretty much what I've been doing, and it's been really effective. Like, it just, it stops them from saving. It makes Gale Force really difficult because they have to get through 2 saves to get to Læraðr typically, to turn on warping, which is annoying. And then he also just debuffs. Like, he just does a billion debuffs. So like, even if they're trying to use a hit and run strat, at least the nukes are weaker. Like, they have to like do some extra like hoops to jump through to actually be able to nuke. So I found him very effective so far in defense. We're about to do our first SD season, so we'll see there. From what I've seen so far, though, it's pretty chaotic.
I mean, it's small chamber. That's always going to be super chaotic. So, yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like it's another thing you have to think about, which is never fun in SD when you're on a timer.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of, the number of people who misunderstand what this unit does is incredible. I went up against a defense, and obviously I guess they summoned Læraðr and just immediately threw them on the defense with Tina. But I was like,
no, it's like a 5-brain theory. Like, we don't need saves. We'll make saves from them. Like, everyone gets a side decoy.
So, I was trying to think of some clever way because I was wanting to make it make a replay out of it, but I finally just ended up player facing the thing and being done with it. But That was but I mean, even setting him up next to Loki, and that doesn't do you any good either. So
Right.
the number of folks who are having trouble understanding this unit, there's a lot of them. I'm really curious on SD though. I almost put him in the Femortis bucket, like OG Femortis back in the day, where Femortis himself, you had better saviors, but he had such interesting stuff that if you could keep him alive, it was worth at least trying. So I'm curious what you guys come up with though.
I think the problem, like DTM was saying, that's like small chamber, so I feel like everyone's just gonna have a Lathrender team, and it's gonna be like nuke. Like, okay, I have Lathrender, he makes your saves not work, I kill your units, GG I win, or like a GG I lose, whatever it is. So I feel like most of the time he's gonna get banned, but maybe we'll get some good replays.
Is that game in middle school where you keep punching each other until someone flinches?
Somewhat, I guess. I mean, the problem with small chamber is like genuinely the worst map in the SD rotation.
It is.
And unfortunately, I don't think it's that good of a map to like evaluate the meta impactfulness or viability of units. And so it's going to be interesting. At the very least, we know the next SDR that will happen 2 weeks later won't be on small chamber, so that'll be interesting to see how often Lathrender appears. I am curious on how like the top players like either incorporate him or like are able to deal with him. There has been some inklings of specific like setting defense levels among the teams to certain ways to be able to counteract those sort of effects. I mean, it'll be interesting because like if Lathrender does become like very, very impactful and everyone or most people do have Lathrender, then I feel like most people just won't bring saves, and then they'll try to bring like very, very strong nukes with Lathrender, and therefore like it just becomes like Lathrender v Lathrender teams that don't really use Lathrender that much because we're just like nuking each other, and then it's a very interesting dynamic, I think. And so that is something I guess to keep in mind, to keep a lookout for as like the SD meta progresses with this.
Right. I think, you know what? This is all a secret plan from IS to make male Corrin and duo Lear good. It's like, we're gonna get these Omni tanks, and they're gonna have trash defense stats, so that way they get hit with the sign decoy, and some people use them. But they forgot to give them NCD, so it doesn't actually work.
The super Galaxy Brain play. Let's go.
Right.
Well, there you go. I mean, SD Ice Felicia, and then you're golden.
Oh
I mean,
my
that's
gosh.
the team.
It's all
amazing
coming
at that
together.
That'd be the most hilarious team ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's pretty cool. Barricade's really strong. I'm gonna try out Barricade Tibarn. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. I think that's gonna be kind of toxic, but I'm gonna love it.
I'm sorry, I just had this vision of someone trying to field that team and then accidentally killing Lathrender without thinking about it. Like, no, my whole strategy is done.
I am
You
curious.
have to keep him alive.
Yeah. I am curious if like Lathrender like becomes more prevalent in defense and like people actually use him correctly. If there's like going to be like a movement of like having a specific offense team to be able to take advantage of the fact that he gives out saves to have like a double save teams without any armor units. Like I don't think it's happened yet, but I think that is something that could be really, really cool if people want to like try that out.
Double save is really hard, but single save I have been using, and that's I can defense match, and then I have Tamara, and then then she works as the near save.
Right.
So that works pretty well.
It's definitely interesting. I do think he has like a good design. I just think it's like too much complexity to an already complex game. That's my problem with it. Like that, the actual design is really cool. Like making bonuses kind of like a negative.
Hurt you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. But you know, it's IS, so. I guess our other unit though, Níðhöggr, like this unit's kind of. I think I knew she was good, but I didn't know how good she would be. The new Celica Rain Níðhöggr, which is just causing absolute chaos. Oh, you haven't heard this?
No, I haven't heard. What is this?
Go play favor battles. You'll run into it. You'll be like, at first you'll be like, haha, it's Níðhöggr with the Selka ring. I'm fine. And then she just jumps at you and doubles you and destroys your unit. And you're like, why does she do that much damage? And then she doesn't die either. And you're like, oh, okay, this is fun. Like, she just does a ridiculous amount of damage. All that true damage she gets and like the burn damage and everything else, like just lets her hit really, really hard. And then she has 3 layers of flat DR, which was like, who decided that? That was an interesting choice.
I mean, yeah, like
I think the more telling thing is the fact that she is a very capable Aether Raid's offense unit without having any of the support. I mean, that's nuts. So she's
that's why
really
they ran
good.
3 layers of DR? I don't know.
Possibly.
You don't get any HP or extra stats, so we're giving you a bunch of DR. Like, personally, that's like the least place I want to use her, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, I have no interest in using her as a save on offense, but like in summer duels, I'd love to use her. And I would love to use her on defense if I could.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can only do that on Chaos, which is a shame. But yeah, like...
Well, that hasn't stopped quite a few people from using her on defense. let me just tell you.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, like I don't know, when like I remember when I did the I mean it's Abyssal, so it wasn't too big of a deal. I just ended up just doing like Felix plus Sigurd and it was pretty much GG's. But like she is like very, very difficult to take out, like very, very tanky. And I do wonder, like again, like we've gotten a lot of good save armors that are very, very tanky these days. And again, like you mentioned, this is IS trying to slow down the game. Personally, though, I like it when like it's a more nuke-based meta because like it makes like matches, at least when it comes to Summer's duels, a lot less investment dependent. Because when it comes to like tanks, like they definitely like want as much investment as possible, and therefore that makes the number of nukes that are viable more limited to the units that can like take out those tanky saves. Like I wonder I just wonder, like, is this going to continue? Are we going to get more like these very, very powerful saves, like with Níðhöggr, and who can apparently do player face Selka ring too? So I guess she has the best of both worlds. I need to see that.
I mean, for sure, we're going to get at least one more banner that has a save on it, because we haven't gotten the new Briar near save yet. So that has to come within the next month or two at the latest, I'd say.
Okay.
After that, who knows, right? Like, maybe they'll go like full nuke mode and just drop nuke after nuke out on us. But I think for sure we'll at least get the Briar near save from someone.
I was talking to Infantry Pulse, and his estimate is the Desert Banner that nukes will rise. So I have to like that's like late January. I kind of agree with that. Like that feels like a good time frame for me.
I think if I had to gamble, I'm gonna say Valentine's, because Valentine's is always a meta shifting banner, and if they're gonna drop like a new level of nuke on us, like a nuke that can get through flat DR, it's gonna be at Valentine's. That's my gamble.
I feel like the way to get through flat DR, though, is just... I mean, I guess true damage is affected by percentage-based damage reduction, so it's not like a true counter. But like the way to deal with flat DR, which minuses damage, is to plus damage. And so like a form of that is not affected by percentage-based DR, or just like, I guess, a nerf to percentage-based DR.
Burn damage again.
Yeah, I guess.
Bring back the burn damage.
Bring back burn damage, yeah.
I think... I don't know. I feel like we'll get nukes who just like either can like ignore part of flat DR, or we'll get nukes who just turn off defensive specials. Again, like Pagato, but not crap, pretty much.
Man, Pagato sucks so much. I still can't believe he failed to kill a Valentine's Lucina, a 3-year-old unit. Like, what? Are you serious? Okay.
The unit you use?
Yeah, the unit I use, yes.
So,
sounds like a skill issue.
he definitely needs a new kit, like, for sure. Like, he definitely wants other things. But yeah, I guess, is there anything else about Níðhöggr in particular that you guys have like found fun or impressive?
Unfortunately, I only encountered Níðhöggr once, and that was on defense which was super weird. But I guess it's normal now that Hathrin is also being run out of seasons, so it's fine. She's very, very tanky. Apparently she has good player phase too. I don't exactly know how impactful she'll be to the meta, especially among the other big saves that we have seen. So I think in terms of impact, it's less than, say, Lyrathor, who has like a more disruptive effect. But she's a really good save. That's probably, you can definitely use her very well in Summer Duels.
The only problem I have with her is that she literally has a part of her weapon that just says F Nurgle. Like, literally, there's nothing else there. Like, the fact that it doesn't work against Loki or Thor, but it works just against Nurgle and Tina.
For Nurgle.
I'm just like, why? Like, Nurgle was strong, but he wasn't so strong. Like, there wasn't ways to deal with him. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like every team had a Nurgle on it. Like, like he's still usable, obviously. You just don't run him into Níðhöggr. But like, man, like, can they just stop hard countering things? Like, please just release soft counters to things. That'd be great.
It's that whole meme where they stop it, he's already dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what other banners do we have? We're not going in like the most random order ever, so.
I mean, actually, we've been. I wasn't planned, but we're actually doing reverse chronological order, so I guess we can continue that.
I planned that. Yep, that was totally.
That was all you. I mean, the next is the Binding banner, and I'm not gonna lie, this banner was kind of a disappointment in terms of like unit strength and whatnot. Like, I feel like the only unit worth talking about is Thjazi, and even then, that's more like a niche unit per se.
I mean, she's Dagger's grandma. She can do Pathfinder, which is cool. She's kind of built to counter Sigurd, but doesn't completely work. So there's that. And she has gravity support. I mean, that's kind of cool.
I just remember Mask trying to make the gravity Thjazi work last SDS, and it just not working out. And so I feel like if she was literally anything but armor, that could have worked out really, really well. And been actually like a really cool tech option, like providing that Pathfinder and gravity as like an infantry. That would be insane, but she's an armor with a perf B, with that perf B having like no defensive capabilities. So you can't really run Shield Fighter without losing that Pathfinder and gravity. And so, yeah, it's really cool, but like it just doesn't work out as kit-wise, in my opinion.
I don't get it. Like this is a really neat design. This had a lot of potential. I think it would have been a ton of fun. Pathfinder and the gravity thing, that is a neat gimmick to play with. And they made it dead in the water. Why would you do that to the B skill? This unit infuriates me. Absolutely infuriates me.
Yeah, it needed to.
I have seen the one replay where she works on small chamber, but like it's small chamber.
It's small chamber,
right.
That's the same thing as like how you have like the turn 1 Aether just line up and everything.
Dude, I love that. I love doing it to people. They get so mad. You can see through their screen. They're like, and I'm like, yes. But yeah, I think she has niche usage, which is fine. I mean, it's not the biggest deal. And the real big thing is, of course, that she has the Arcane Axe, which is really cool.
Yes.
And that she could just duplicate armor skills, because, like, Grima hates my guts and just doesn't come home, so I needed something.
Do you mean armor skills, or do you just mean Shield Fighter, which she can't use, but she can duplicate?
Mostly Shield Fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with this unit. I'm just so angry.
They just needed to keep the B open. Like, put that on the A. Like, it's not that hard, but I don't know. Yeah.
Or either Pathfinder or gravity in the weapon, and that's something. I don't know. I guess they couldn't do it in the weapon because it's rearmed,
weapon.
But yeah. But still, I don't understand why you would hamstring a unit like that.
Mm-hmm. I will say I have seen a lot of rumblings of the Arcane Axe being used on rearmed Lucina, apparently. Apparently that's like super cracked. Like, you have her with the AoE build with momentum, And I saw the SD. I was on the SD run that Satoshi did with Rearm Lucina, and it just blew my mind how much she was able to kill. She was better than Emblem Sigurd, unironically, at killing things. And so, I mean, I guess that's not that hard, but you get what I mean.
Dang. Treachery good?
Treachery is good, yes.
Yes.
Treachery is good, and close defense is better. I mean,
that banner was kind of like, I felt like it was kind of like a throwaway banner a little bit, not gonna lie.
Yeah, probably.
Lilina's cool, and I'm glad that they gave her like inherently good fodder, so you don't have to like invest a ton into her to get good skill duplication. That's really nice. Like they gave her Sly Mirror, I think it's called.
Yes.
Which is like a new top tier premium A slot, right? So like that's obviously it's not speed, but still like it's very good. And so being able to just get that for free essentially by something when Lilina is really nice. She herself isn't a bad unit by any means. Like I'm not writing home about her, but she's definitely solid.
She's solid.
So
yeah.
At least there's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't remember the other units, if I'm going to be honest.
Elfin and I keep mispronouncing Ogier.
Oh wait, this is the banner that I don't have any units for the bonus season this either race. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No wonder why I don't remember any of them. I didn't get them.
It's like Kmart Ike, like he's just yeah. I mean, other than that, yeah, the banner Elfin's not great. Like he's just a dancer. Yeah. It's like okay, cool.
Yeah, we already have Lorem already. That's great.
Right.
So we don't need that anymore for limited hero battles.
Not much to write home about on this banner, but the banner before it.
Yes. The Ninja banner with the best unit in the game, Ninja Lucina. Let's go. Oh my gosh. I forget. Was I streaming? I don't remember if I was streaming or not. I think I was on a video. But like I freaked out when I saw Lucina with Crom. Like, oh my goodness, that's such a perfect duo. Like, it's so good. And the art is amazing as well. And future focus is amazing. Like just being able to, it's so good, right? Like the ability to have that Canto 2 and like just spread out. It's not even just to the target. It's like in the cardinal directions, which is actually pretty insane as a support option. That and being brave, the trifecta of the nukes, as Oblivion mentioned earlier. Sorry, I just really love this unit.
I mean, it's just really, really good. Like, there's nothing. I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna argue with this unit's insane. Future Focus is like way overloaded in my opinion. The fact that it gives like, it has the duo Crom effect, right? But it's not only just the unit you targeted, but the other units. It has NFU, it has stats, it has like just everything. Like it's so crazy. On top of a unit who's like a top tier nuke as well. So like, and she has Shadow Shift just because why not, right? Like, oh man. Phenomenal. Like it's good to see that duo Lucina actually got treated well, considering that like her first forte as Harmonic Mia was a bit underwhelming to say the least.
I am still waiting for an actual Summer Lucina. Like we need that. IS like Mia does not count. Okay, like I refuse to acknowledge that.
Is she the best ninja we've gotten? I mean, maybe like if you consider like the time, like maybe Linja.
Yeah.
But I think
like
maybe
inflation.
Linja's better. But
yeah.
I think other than Linja, she'd probably be the best.
I think for the time, I think Linja's probably the best because Linja, when she came out, was just like such a game changer in so many different ways. Not only was she like one of the best nukes in the entire game, she had crazy action economy. She could run disarm trap. She pretty much ushered in the duo hindrance meta in Aether raids, like
single-handedly. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, duo Lucina is a better unit, but she also has several years of power creep to boost her up.
Yeah. I don't think anything can beat the impact Linja had. Like her winning AHR is literally the reason why dual hindrance started to become a thing in defense.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, she was the reason. She was my first Gale Force team, and that got me into Gale Force. So, yeah.
This would be second, though, right? I mean, it has to be.
Yeah, second. Yeah, definitely.
Probably.
Absolutely. Like Corrin had the potential, but then everyone was like, "Hey, remember that seal deflect magic? Yeah, it completely countered. Right. Let's just use that." And then she just kind of like fell off a cliff. I mean, she's really good in arena, but
no. This is why you run Bolt Tower, so you don't have to deal with deflect magic. Problem solved. But no, I think Ninja Lucina is probably second best for the time. I sort of wish she wasn't a horse because there are maps that aren't as cav favored, but that's probably like asking for like more gold when I already have like a full treasure chest.
Asking for a bit much, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, I think this ninja banner is the strongest ninja banner we've ever gone, because typically the ninja banner like has maybe 1 or 2 good units on it. And then, like, usually it's the duo, and then, like, the duo is, like, the star of the show, pretty much, right? And then, like, in the case of, like, Camilla, we have, like, Camilla, right? But with this banner in particular, I feel like we kind of slept on everybody except for Lucina at first, and then once we started using them, like, every one of these units is pretty cracked. Like, Tharja's Anathema is so good, like actually so ridiculously cracked good. Like it just makes it so that if you're using a speedy unit, they just don't get doubled, and not only that, they hit way harder back. I think one of the things, like for me, in my reaction was like, I was like, oh, Tharja doesn't really have that much true damage. I don't think she's really kill anything. But I kind of forgot that Anathema like does like -20 resistance, which is like quite a bit of damage. So like I've had her kill like duo Fjorms and a whole bunch of stuff. So I think Tharja's fantastic. Diamant's better just because they gave him a brave weapon, so he's not like playing as fair as he was with his base version, which was geez. And then of course Saline. I don't have Saline, but Infantry Pulse will sing her praises literally for like 5 hours. So
and Tacho fantastic. Too, who made a video. Yeah, I was so surprised about that one. Do you guys know I have a +5 OG Diamant, and I only summoned for one of them?
Wait, really?
Yes. You got it last night, right? Or like the other night, I think.
Yeah, and then I put 5 more orbs into that, and you know what it was? Another Diamant.
He likes you. Wow. He doesn't like me that much.
Yeah.
Anyway,
where's our Diamant?
But I think you're exactly right. I kind of think that's been most of the banners this year. Like they've put a lot of effort into unit design. Now, if we could talk about game balance, and we have. And that has been questionable, but they've been working really hard on individual units quite a bit, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah, like I mean, I feel like that sort of thing, like what we were saying with Tharja, like all of us, like, or at least I didn't exactly sing her praises during my initial reaction, just due to the uniqueness of the kit design. But once it actually works out in practice, it's like the design just like works super, super well in game. And I think IS has been trending more towards that direction, where it's not just, the same effects that we've been seeing over and over again, but like trying new effects. And as you mentioned, like game balance can be a question, but I do like how they are experimenting with new designs, even if they might not be apparently shiny must pull type of things. And back to Tharja though, like one of the best team or best archetypes that Tharja enables, in my opinion, are like speedy armors, because of how like this. Thankfully, speed is a stat that does get debuffed by Anathema, and so like if you like have like a speedy armor, like say Valentine's Lucina, you can inflict a -20 speed debuff on the foe, and she will never get doubled. Like it's amazing. And obviously,
wait. Is this your new legendary Robin?
I was trying to convince him that. I was like, you need to get this unit.
We'll see on the rerun. I don't feel like going on that banner, even if I have like a 5.5 pity rate. It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
But no, like, I mean, obviously, like you can circumvent that with like feud right now. But most people are looking at Fjorm as the target unit for, I guess, Tharja support. So it's mainly blue feud. So I remember like a week at the competitive server, they were thinking about all the non-blue speedy saves, and yeah, I finally got my Valentine's Lucina propaganda to go through. It's amazing.
Yeah, she's a really good, and that Slice with Sparrow works really well with Brave attacks. It works really well there. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, I need a Tharja, both to use and to sack to Ninja Lucina. Like, both Lucinas, my Valentine's and Ninja needs it. Yeah,
100%.
I haven't seen a lot of Saline, I'll be honest. Like, what has Infantry Pulse been using with her?
You want to take this one, Joel? I know that. Or do you?
He's been using her to attack Fjorms, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
When you have a unit who can quad and can run Miracle and also cleanses like Micaiah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She absolutely smacks things. She's really good.
Yeah. She's. I didn't get her, but everything I've seen, she's really strong too. And I wonder Diamant surprisingly is a really strong front line. So like
yeah. I with that, like, I wonder if she like is able to kill like Fiorma and stuff. I wonder if like she'll be a nuke worth using in something like Summer's Duels, because like obviously Micaiah is best known as like the debuff cleanser and also spreading the debuffs. But I wonder if like Saline could be an option, maybe on like a secondary team or something like that. I think, especially if she has that duking power that you two talked about, there is a potential there, I think.
There's definitely people doing that already, but like it's like secret tech hidden. They don't want to talk about it.
Sorry. I spoiled everyone. Sorry.
No, you're good. That happens a lot. You'll talk to people, and a lot of people like to hide their secret sauce, which I don't blame them. And I'm not using Saline, so I don't have a reason to like throw it out there. But,
right.
There's definitely people who are using her for that exact reason. And she fits well, and she's an infantry, so she's very versatile in her builds. Like whatever you really need her to do, you can figure it out. I mean, also if you want to run Kanto control, that's also an option. So
that's what I was thinking. I mean, Kanto control is really important in every mode right now. So that's yeah.
Yeah.
I've even had it come in handy on offense, and I mean, given it was on a bonus unit that I just had to have Kanto control on because I didn't have anything else. But still, that having keeping Sigurd in the lot from hitting and then running far away is kind of a big deal.
That's true. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to tell you to go out and put that on your offense team, but it was really handy.
I was about to say, I thought normally like Kanto on defense is a hindrance because like for the defense you just want to like a pile on the team and like have like warp beacons and stuff like that. But I guess when it comes to like that much Kanto, it is worth like just retreating all the way back so that they can't reach you.
The reason it's not a hindrance on Sigurd specifically is because he moves 5 and then he only Kantos back 3. And so he still stays pretty far up on the front line and can easily be danced at that point. So that's the biggest thing with him. So when the math works out, that it's really nice. If they go all the way back, or if they, what'll inevitably be happen is they'll put themselves way over in the corner, then it doesn't help your defense barely at all.
Right. And the other thing with Sigurd too is like if he's too close, he won't get the momentum cooldown.
Yes.
And he won't actually kill anything. He kind of needs to like run at you a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing I think is like Boulder on Diamant. Like I'm really glad they are expanding the specials, right? Like we've gotten obviously we got Gust, now we have Boulder, and then we got the Dragon's Roar, and then the Beast version as well with Sturdy Beast. So I'm glad they're expanding that and just like allowing for more variety of specials. And I think Boulder is really good overall. It's just very rare at this moment.
Yeah, but it's only on Diamant.
Only on Diamant, yeah. I'm trying to duplicate it, but it's not going well so far. I'm missing a few things. But,
I'm not gonna lie. Until you mentioned Boulder, I forgot that special existed and was introduced with Diamant. Like I don't know, that sort of just like forgot my mind because like it is super super rare, and like I don't think there's a lot of good uses for Boulder yet, but I guess, yeah, it's just like the fact that it's so rare. And I feel like we've gotten like a lot of skills that have been like are either one-off or pretty rare. Like the Briar skill right now is just 1 unit so far. We'll probably get the near save soon, but we still only have like one of the twin saves of each. I guess we now have 2 shadow shifts now with Ninja Lucina, but like you don't want to fodder Ninja Lucina, so we only have one source of shadow shift. I think this goes back to like them emphasizing skills, like trying to like build up that unit, as we've mentioned.
Barricade, High Dragon Wall, Lookout. Like they're putting a lot of work into these skills, and they're only putting them on 1 unit. It's really interesting. I'm curious what else comes of that, but I think the idea is to make them available. You have to go through the whole rearmed attuned rigmarole, but I don't know that I mind it too much. It makes for sometimes you see units that are really unique that way, and I kind of like that. Lookout Air is actually usable.
wait, like base, like Mythic Air? Lookout Mythic Air?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Mythic Air. Well, think about if that's your merged up Mythic in Light Season. I mean, this is a thing you put one of the disarm skills on there, and you fly off onto one of the traps and then swap in a unit. I mean, that's actually usable. Like that's actually kind of good.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of like how we used to use Foul Play Yuri to like disarm.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a mythic that you had to use anyway. So
exactly. Oh, I'm about to try that.
And you can use like Emblem Ring Sigurd to like get the same range as Yuri theoretically.
True. That's actually...
Wait, hold on, we're cooking. Yeah. I mean, like just like looking back on Book 8 overall, we have gotten like a lot of new skills. We've gotten the introduction of emblems, and we've gotten a lot of crazy units, let's just say. I guess, what are your overall thoughts on Book 8, and how does it compare to like the previous books we've been through?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. When it comes to units, I do like how much they've, like you guys were mentioning, the design of units, like trying to make units unique. I think that's great. I definitely think that there are, still a lot of examples of them just throwing slop together and being like, hey, it's all the cool abilities on one unit. Oh, they're so great. They've been doing better, in my opinion. I think emblems in particular have been like the standout of the year. I'm really happy with emblems overall. I think emblem rings as like a mechanic just adds value to your entire account, which I think is a really good thing, because like right now it's really difficult to have an investment that lasts a long time. Like it's pretty much just mythics at this point. So having emblem ring, even a single copy, is great. When it comes to other things other than like the design of units, I think skills are good, but I do think they're moved a little bit too fast. I feel like we kind of go from like one really good A slot to the next one a little bit too fast. I wish it would slow down a little bit there. And then the biggest thing, of course, for me is just like the same complaint I've had for years now. It's just like, please give us game modes, like content game modes. I think that's the only thing I'll complain about, consecutively every single year, because I think that's like the number one thing we do need. Summer Duels is fun, but I don't want to play Summer Duels that like forever. Like I want to mix it.
It's
up.
dedefinitely not for everyone, right? So
right, yeah, same, yeah, definitely.
So, and I'll echo that. I'm same, but I think the thing they did wrong this last year was the preference weapon creep.
Yep. Yeah.
That to me was I don't even mind the preference skill creep, which is weird, but the preference weapon skill, the preference weapon itself, I think we've gotten a little bit out of hand with that. This was something we all talked about maybe 6 months ago. We were coming off of a year where it was very easy to take any unit and upgrade them and be able to use them, and they wouldn't be tip top of the meta, but they were still usable. Right. And the preference weapons are a little bit out of hand, where that's a lot harder to do right now.
Yeah, I think one part of that is that they keep doing this thing with like, hey, this is the standard for a preference weapon, and then they're like, oh, the new standard for preference weapon is +5 to all stats, and you're like, okay, then everything gets the plus $5 stats. And they're like, now the new standard is like plus 10, and now it's like 14, right? It's like can you guys? Because that's like one of the biggest things. Like that's just so much stat power creep that I think if they just didn't do that, there would be easier ways to get around it. But like when you are fighting as a Gen 1 unit versus a unit who gets like plus 60 to all stats from their weapon alone, it's just like a wall you can't climb. You know what I mean? So I think that's definitely part of the preference power weapon creep. I would just love to see stop. Like let's just stop at 14. Like 14 is good enough. Let's just stop there.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much you guys watch or pay attention to PM1's summaries, but the big thing now is to have it's plus 14, but there's this whole slew of things that you have to go through that most of the time you get. And so PM1 has started just writing Omni plus 14 asterisk.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like there's technically conditions, but like most of the time you are able to get those, so they might as well be there forever.
Just asterisk.
Yeah. I mean, I think I echo most of the same things you two have said. Like for me, definitely the standouts was emblems. I think like they've just added so much like variety and uniqueness and just fun to the game. Like so many units are able to like be good basically because of emblem rings, like melee calves, as we mentioned with Sigurd ring, like melee nukes with Celica ring. And I know like a lot of people are very annoyed by Celica ring, especially in arena, but I do think it is cool that new archetypes that were considered dead basically have new life because of these new sorts of builds. And I think, as we mentioned, the focus on like new and unique skills, being able to build new and unique units, I think is really, really cool. Again, there's definitely questions when it comes to like gameplay balance and things like that. But overall, like I do really like the new additions mechanically, like archetypically, mechanically, that they have introduced. Like the echo skills were like whatever, like I didn't really care about them, but like I think emblems and that sort of thing were really, really cool. And so overall, I do feel positively about this book when it comes to like design. I at the very least had a lot of fun in Summer's Duels still. And I mean, we could talk about ether rates and how easy it is, but like that's another story for another day. And yeah, overall, like, yeah, pretty positive feelings overall. Again, would I like a co-op mode or a PvE mode? Yes, I definitely would. Like, we've been asking that. We've talked about that plenty of times. But what they did bring, for the most part, I did like, yeah.
I think if there's like one thing I could remove from the game, though, it would be the people who put Celica ring on Marnie in Arena. You have ruined Arena. Marnie has ruined Arena. I'm just gonna say.
You just hate Marnie. That's the thing.
Don't give out a free-to-play unit with Miracle that everyone plus 10s and puts the best save on, and then put Celica ring so she's chasing me across the map with my 2017 legendaries. And I'm like, oh my god.
Okay, there's a real easy way to fix this. IS, if you're listening, just take off rings for defense teams on Arena. I just do that, and the entire player base will celebrate. There's no point in them. We get no glory when we defeat someone in Arena. I mean, it's nothing. So just remove those. It's gonna make everyone feel better about life.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. We've been talking for around 1 hour and 30 minutes, and there's definitely been a lot to discuss. We are introducing the new book, retrospecting on the old book. And yeah, are there any other things you two want to mention before we sign off?
I guess because this is like the end of our Book 8 like podcast, right? Who is your favorite unit, I guess, out of all Book 8?
Oh, jeez.
Obviously, you had multiple Lucinas to choose from.
I'll go first because mine's super easy. It's Sharena. I love that unit. I use that unit every week, every day. Like, I love that unit.
Yeah, for me, difficult because as you mentioned, there was Ninja Lucina. There's 2 Robins that were released this year, both of which are pretty meta. It's great to be a Robin fan right now, I have to say. And like I love Micaiah and Attune Micaiah's. I think when it comes down to it, I think I haven't used Ninja Lucina like that often for her to become my favorite unit. Like I literally used her like twice for 2 seasons in E3 so far. Meanwhile, I've used like young female Robin like basically all the time in Summer Duels. And I know you're not a young Robin fan, Oblivion. You've convinced a lot of FEH tubers that young Robin's bad. I know.
She's not bad. She's not bad. She's not clutch. That's all. She's not clutch.
That sounds like a skill issue to me.
Nope. Nope.
I think it would have to be a young female Robin. Like I love them. I use them all the time. I love how you can change the assists and still get the extra action. I love the flexibility that provides. Mm-hmm. I love the 2 together. I love Krobin so much. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Yeah, it has to be them, I guess. Yeah. Okay,
makes sense. For me, it's Brave Felix. I mean, Emblem Ike's great, but he is just another Ike. Like, you know what I mean? Like not like Ike did anything special. He's just better at what he was already doing. But Brave Felix is just, not only is he really strong, but like he's just really fun to play with. Like I just have a blast playing with Felix. The fact that you get a Gale Force without having to attack anything, and like you can disarm traps. Mm-hmm. He's good in every game mode. Like he's just a blast to play with. So that's definitely by far my most favorite unit. And I wish I could give him AIDS, but stupid Fury 5 doesn't exist yet, so we can't do it.
Yeah, right? Where's our Fury Echo skill? Or just Fury anything? Like, give us more Fury.
Give us a Fury which does fire tiles. Like, that would make so much more sense, right? Like, your angry fire. I don't know. Like, let's get on it. Make it now.
Yes. Oh my goodness. All we want for Christmas is Fury 5. That is the message of today.
It can literally give 1 more stat and I'll be happy with it. Just make it 2 more recoil damage.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Unfortunately, my Ninja Lucina is literally 1 HP over the 50% threshold, which sucks because I only have WOM 4 on Fallen Edelgard so far, so I have to make sure she gets the dual units.
You have like 7 peonies. Use one of your peonies. You can do it.
I should, yeah. But I don't know. If I ever like get to 1 ladder, I'll pull out the bank.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. That should be it. Thank you to, as always, for being a part of this podcast. I know Retrospect, like, it's always so much fun just getting together and talk about FEH. And yeah, it's really amazing, and I'm very, very thankful. Thank you all for watching for the entire book. Hopefully, we'll still be here for the next book, like 9 years later in FEH. Oh my goodness, but yeah, existential crisis out of the way. Yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Let us know down in the comments what your favorite new edition was this past month. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for sticking with us through Book 8. Book 9's gonna be a blast.
Absolutely.